Hello and welcome. You join us today with the guys from the MRC in the Infinity League, Season 10. We are here at round 9 at Laggy Maggie, as well, that's what me and Brucey called it. Yes, at Lake Maggiore Circuit. This is the full course. And let's get the grid up quickly. There we go. And after 10 minutes of qualifying in the group falls for the last time this season, Pickles has put it on pole in the Genesis. Jim has put it second in the Merc. James has gone third in the second Genesis, so pretty good for the Genesis. Scott in fourth in the new Supra. In fifth we have Phil in the McLaren. In sixth we have Infinity Graphics in the Porsche. In seventh we have Mark in the Mercedes. In eighth we have Ice in the Nissan. In ninth place, we have Brucey in the Lexus. In 10th we have Gary in the McLaren. In 11th we have Staffy in the other new Supra. In 12th place we have Tom in the Toyota 86. In 13th we have Osman, Tom's teammate, in the other 86. In 14th we have Golden Brownie in the Lexus, and bringing up the rear in 15th is Surfer in his Nissan. Right, this is the sprint and feature round, so it'll be a 15-minute sprint, no tyres required, and then it'll be a 40-minute feature. So right, let's get these guys, just make sure, before I start, that I'm coming through live. Don't want to be doing this and it all live. Yep, I can hear myself, lovely stuff. Right, so let's get going at Laggy Maggie. Up to the first corner, Pickles holds on to first place with Jim in second, James in third, then three, keeping it nice and clean. It looks like everyone's bunching up here for fourth to the back of the pack. Phil there, looks like he's just got round Graphics. Graphics gets a little bit tail happy coming into the corner. But they all get through cleanly, there's no big spin outs. But it looks like James was going for an outside move on Jim there for second place. But look at this gaggle of cars coming through. Everyone within about 2 seconds of each other, all fighting for the same bit of tarmac. And Surfer's there from last up to, where's he up to now? 12th place. Golden Brownie's 13th, so they've moved up a couple places. Tom and Osman have moved back. Oh, there's a bit of argy-bargy going on there. What happened? Oh, missed the camera I wanted. Tom gives Golden a bit of a tap and then comes back on track and wipes himself out. I don't think Golden really had much he could do there to avoid contact with Tom. With Surfer being on the outside of him. So that's Tom down about 10 seconds or so at the beginning of this race. See if he can claw his way back. As I say, it's only a 15-minute race, so it's a short little sprint. But the top three here are pulling away with Pickles, Jim and James first, second and third. Infinity Graphics in fourth. keeping everyone else that's trying to get past him behind, so doing well so far. Ice there up to 5th place. I do believe he's starting about 7th, I can think. Mark there in 6th. Got Phil up behind him at the moment. The two McLarens are running in 7th and 8th. Scott's a little bit jumpy coming through the corners. That'll be the old Australian ping. Halfway across the other side of the world. It's not going to be perfect, but oh, what's Phil doing? Where's Phil? There's Phil. What's Phil doing coming through turn 1? Excuse the cough, it's still there. It's not budging. Yeah, it looked like he got too much on the curb, on the apex there. Oh, nearly pulls it in front. Looked like Surfer there. So that is Phil and Tom battling. Looks like going to be for last place. Brucey there, been able to catch up to the back end of Scott. Golden Brady sliding it through that corner there. Onto the little back straight. I wouldn't say it's the main back straight, but Brucey's looking for a move up the inside of Scott. Scott cuts his nose off into that uphill right-hander. Ice there hasn't been able to. He is caught up a little bit to the back end of Graphics. The front three are still, as you see on that mini-map top right, that they are running away from the rest of the pack. They are almighty close, these three together. But you can see, just only, there's not much of a gap, but obviously they've broken the toe to Infinity Graphics, so he's going to be struggling for top end on the end of the straights. Ice there, looks like he's going to be coming under a bit of pressure there from Mark for 5th place. Scott there still jumping around behind Gary, looking this way and that, but three-way fight there for 7th place. And that Golden Brownie there, he's served his half-second penalty. In a horrible place. You do a lot more than half a second coming down the main back straight. He's got Surfer behind him with Staffy and Osman. So them four are fighting for 10th place at the moment, which is the last remaining point in the sprint race. Tom has got ahead of Phil, so Phil has had the not the best of second laps, let's say the least. Pickles there, he's been able to pull out a little bit of a gap over Jim. Not an absolute mile, but it's definitely stretched out a tiny bit more than when we were last with them. They were all fairly close together. It's now just stretching out. Everyone's kind of getting into little groups, it looks like. Graphics there, Ice and Mark looking like they're fighting for 4th. Scott and Brucey, they're having a battle for 7th place. Gary's dropped off the back. He was in front of Scott, so what's happened to Gary? He's still there. Oh, there we go. Oh, gets a nice. Did he get a tap from Scott coming down the hill? There's only one way to find out. That's to kind of go side on view as we go round the last corner. No, Gary just gets it. Too much power coming down the last corner. But keeps his foot in. Doesn't want to lose as much speed as possible. What's the gain is maintain as much speed as possible. Get the words out in a sec. So that's now dropped Gary from 7th into the clutches of Golden Brownie. Now we're going to be fighting for 9th place. So not the best start for the two McLarens. They've dropped back a few places, I believe, from where they qualified. Will Golden Brownie have a look up the inside of Gary into the right hander at the end of this little back straight? He is on the inside, but both giving each other racing room. I think the McLaren will probably have the drive coming up the hill, but it looks like that Lexus is staying there. Golden Brownie keeping Gary tight there through the first of these sweeping S's. Gary holds on to 9th place for the moment. We'll stick with these guys at the moment because I can't see anyone else too close. I think they're all kind of spread out slightly. Osman going for a move on Staffy into the big banky boy, but Staffy's been able to defend and keep that 12th place from Osman. So let's have a look through, see if anyone has. Yeah, Mark's got past Ice. I've missed that move. Has it happened this lap? Possibly. It looked like it probably happened on the line because they're both about the same lap time between the two of them. So yeah. So Mark probably would have just gotten down into turn 1 at the end of lap, or sorry, the beginning of lap 3. So Mark moving up the field to try and catch up to the back of his teammate in 2nd. He has got Graphics in the way at the moment. These three. Pickles hasn't really been able to pull out much of a gap. He has just kind of kept that distance there in front of Jim. Got a good camera angle where you can see everyone just shooting down their little back straight here until the cameraman decides to change it. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Gary been able to pull away from Golden Brownie there. Surface still on the rear end of Golden there for that last points place of the race. Stuffy there in 12th, Osman in 13th. Tom's looked like he's been able to catch up to the 208s, 206s, 205, 204. So yeah, Tom's been absolutely flying to catch up to the back of his teammate in 13th. But is it been just such a short race? Is he going to have a chance to do anything about it? We've just gone halfway through the race already. Phil there clearly not enjoying his time at this track at the moment, but does go purple. I suppose he's got all the free air in the world just to go as fast as he can. But Pickles there in 1st. Jim still under threat from James in 2nd. Mark's got ahead of. Where's Graphics gone? Why is Graphics all the way back down here? Oh, he's gone for a spin. He's been overtaken by. Just ran it too hot into that right-hander with Ice on the inside of him. How does he join? He joins just behind Golden Brownie there in 10th place. So Graphics there running in 4th. He's dropped down right now down to 10th place. So he's now in the last scoring, or point scoring position with 6.5 minutes to go. Will he be able to hold on to? Oh, and Staffy's lost it. This is an action-packed little sprint race, this one. Everyone's going off left, right and centre at the moment. Does he get it a bit too wide? He does. He gets it on that tiny bit of grass and exits stage left into barrier. Will he be too far to go into the pit? No, he can just get out. So that's dropped Staffy down to 14th place at the moment. But back up the front, Pickles is still pulling there, maintaining that gap to Jim. Look at them lap times, 204s, 204, 204. All three of them are in the 204s, which that's an incredible pace. Fielder has set a 203.6, so he's laying the benchmark down for the feature, saying, don't forget about me, I'm quick. He's got to do a lot of work in the feature because they do start the race how they finish this one, so he'll still have to do most of the overtaking to catch up to the front three guys. But now Mark's been released from graphics. Will he be able to set a fast time to see if he can do anything about the front three, who are a couple of seconds up ahead, but it's not much time of the race left to go. Ice there, all under pressure from Scott. He does go a bit wide coming at the exit of Big Banky Boy. Scott there looked like he forgot to start steering into this fast left right chicane at the top of the hill, but I think that is just his lag. As you can just see, it's just all over the place. It's hard to know exactly where his car is placed on the track. That's right, when he's going in a straight line there's no steering inputs, but as soon as you start braking and turning, you can just see Ice is going well wide out of the last corner, doing exactly what Gary done almost a couple of laps ago. But Graphics has got up to 8th place, absolutely flying. He's got past both Brucey and Golden Brownie. Golden Brownie looks like he's gone up the inside of his teammate. So two Lexus guys having a little swap round for 9th and 10th place. Osman there watching just behind to see if there's any incidents between the two Lexus guys, to see if he can make any moves. Very close there, coming out of that right-hander to drop down that little hill of the little back straight. And Golden Brownie running a little bit wide there. Brucey then slips back up the inside, and Osman still got nowhere to go. Squeezed out wide from Golden Brownie. And Surf is now getting into the mix behind, seeing if he can get past Osman, with him trying to find a way past the two Lexus drivers. Tom there, he has caught up to the back of Surfer, so them lap times have been paying off. So it's a good little car, but obviously having got an incident at the beginning of the lap, or beginning of the race, it's a long way to come back. But he has made it work. He's got just under 3 minutes to see if how far he can get out through this pack when he gets there. Staffy and Phil having a battle for last place at the moment. Fat Pickles there, he has pulled out a little bit more, and looks like James is going to look for a move up the inside of Jim into turn 1. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? Jim's got the inside for turn 2, being a right-hander, but will James square it off and try and get the drive out? No, it looks like Jim can just hold on a little bit from James, but this little bit of fighting is going to give Pickles a nice little bit of breathing room. He's opened it up from about 7-8 tenths to about 1.5 seconds, maybe 2 now, with these two boys fighting, which obviously will allow Mark, who is still a bit of distance behind. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up to these guys, but he's in 4th at the moment, with Scott following fairly closely behind. Ice has got Gary on his tail, so these two have been reunited after Gary's little off, and now Ice is little off on the last corner. And Graphics there, still just ahead of Brucey. Golden Brownie there under pressure from Osman, coming down the back straight. I do believe that 86 is a quick old car. Will Osman he's got past him already. That 86 absolutely flying past the Lexus. Golden Brownie looks like he's going to go for a move back up the inside. No, he just sticks it there. Osman goes wide on the exit. So it's a great overtake from Osman to get past into that last points scoring position, but Golden Brownie gets it back by a simple little mistake from Osman. Just now we've got the other 86 up the inside of him into the right double right-hander here near the end of the lap. So that's dropped Golden Brownie out of the points, and Smokey, who had the incident on lap 1, is now in a points scoring position. But it looks like we are is everyone going to get across the line in this group? Golden is, Surfer is, Osman is, so Phil is going to be the first one to finish the race in 14th and Staffy in 15th. But out in front we've got Pickles with that little battle between Jim and James the last lap. Has just given him that little bit of breathing room he just needed, just to, you can see there, 205.5 is probably potentially tyre wear, as well as just going, well, I've got a bit of breathing room, I don't have to push as hard for the lap, for the final 2 laps. Seeing that he's not being under too much pressure, he's been able to keep that distance between him and Jim from the outset. Looking through the rest of the pack, Mark's having to serve a penalty, so that's going to give Scott 4th place. So Mark will be livid having to give a half a second penalty away, which is more like a second on this track after you've served it. And Gary there up to 6th place, Vice in 7th, so them two have swapped around since I last checked in. Graphics there in 8th, under pressure from Brucey in 9th place, and Tom there just looking behind, seeing if he can. I don't think he's going to make anything up in the last 2 laps, but let's jump up to the front of the pack as Pickles comes through the last corner. He seems happy about that one, flashing his headlights, come across the line in first, Jim in second, James in third, Scott's come down in 4th place with Mark in 5th, Gary comes along in 6th, Ice in 7th, Graphics in 8th, Brucey 9th, Smokey gets the last points in 10th, Golden in 11th, Osman 12th, and Surfer in 13th. Right, whilst I quickly jump to the next one, I'll have a quick drinks break. Right, so let's quickly pause it. Let's get all the information up I need. There we go. Right. So yeah, as I said, this race is a 40-minute race. The grid is set by the finishing positions of the last race. So we'll jump to the front. Excuse me. Right. And yeah, that's pretty much all we need to know. And obviously, yeah, you've got to run 2 different compounds for the race. So there will be a pit stop at some point from the guys. And it is lights out and away we go. And Pickles looks like he's going to be able to hold on to that first place from Jim once again into turn 1. Mark then 4th, Scott 5th. Looks like everyone's getting through cleanly. Not so bunched up as it was the last time around in the sprint. I think the sprint kind of settles everyone through, and been able to make it a nice smooth start from the offset. We have a change for the lead. I did see it at the top. Looks like Pickles has come back. Let's just have a look to see how Jim's done it. He went wide coming onto the mini back straight. Mark there flashing his headlights to try and distract James. Looks like Jim got in a bit too hot. Pickles saw it coming. Went for the old switcheroo. But it's now giving James, is it giving James a bit of a run up the hill? No, James wouldn't be able to do it. But you've got the 2 Genesis and the 2 Mercedes up the front. In first and third for the Genesis and second and fourth for the Mercedes. Ice there in 5th with graphics. Graphics in a Nissan sandwich, so we like the old sandwiches, and graphics is certainly in one at the moment. Brucey there in 8th, followed by his teammate Golden Brownie in 9th place currently. So Golden Brownie's made up 2 positions because he started in 11th. Phil there has moved up from, where did he start? 14th. He was just ahead of Staffy when he finished, so he's moved up 4 positions already, which is pretty good stuff on not even finishing the first lap. And he's on the racing mediums as well. So Gary there in 11th. Scott's dropped all the way down to 12th place. I think he finished in 4th from the first one. So really not the greatest of starts for Scott. Osman there in 13th. Staffy 14th. Smoky Tom once again after the end of lap 1 at the back of the pack, having to giving himself the hardest job of doing all the quick laps to catch up to the guys ahead. But Mark has got paired ahead of, where's happened to James? James was in 3rd. He went to go around the outside of Jim on Banky Boy. Does he go wide into the gravel? He does. And then just not having the best of drives coming up the hill, and it looks like then Ice is going to have the chance to go on the inside of him at the double right-hander, because James is still going to have dirty tyres from, there you go, he's just drifting out wide. Nothing that he could have done there, so I'm going to jump back to where we were, which was here. So James dropped down to 5th place. So he's left his teammate all alone at the front to try and defend off from the 2 Mercedes that are going hammer and tong at him to see if they can get past that ultra wide Genesis. And graphics there in 6th place. I think it's going to be hard with these tyres, I think, around this track. There's a lot of fast sweeping corners to make them last, but we know the Porsche is a decent car for tyre wear. Surfer there in 7th. There's just a bit of a gap on his own for Surfer. Brucey there, and still got a teammate behind him in 9th place. Yeah, it seems like Scott's moved up to 11th, so he's got up past Gary in this half of the lap. He's lagging. He's still lagging a little bit through the corners. So it's still very tricky to see exactly where Scott is. Gary there in 12th place. Osman 13th. Staffy 14th. And Smokey's. I'm guessing Smokey's probably not going to be catching up as quick because he's on the racing mediums rather than the softs. You look at that mini-map, it's been 2 laps, but they're all still reasonably close to one another. Pickles there comes across the line to finish the 2nd lap in 1st place. Jim there has got his teammate right up behind him. Looked like Heiss was going to try and go for a little lunge up the inside, but you've got to be really close for that on turn 2. The sprint race, and so far the first 5 minutes of the feature has just been moving his way up the field, and so if he's going to get the job done up to Mark for that last podium position. James there, even though he had a bad first lap of no. Yes. Oh. He still says the fastest lap. But he had a bad... Oh no, it was a bad first lap, wasn't it, around the big banky boy. Yeah, so he says fastest lap on lap 2 at the moment, 2:05.4. Brucey there making an attack on Surfer. Will he make it stick around the big banky boy? Looks like he can. Cuts off Surfer's nose, so he can't go in for the yellow flag. And that is Mark. And where is Mark? Let's jump back to Mark. What happened to Mark there? Ice goes for the move up the inside of Mark. Gets that done nicely. James just tags the back end of Mark and sends him into the wall. So James is just trying to park it off the racing line. And Scott absolutely clouts James into the wall. Don't know why. Where's Scott? There's Scott. What happened with Scott then? Missed Mark there. And then just drive straight into the back of James. I think he thought he had a bit of room there on the left hand side to Golden Brownie, but doesn't pick any damage up. And James has got... Let's have a look here. So James pulls over to the inside, literally just off the racing line, picks up rear end damage and then front end damage from that, and he was trying to just keep out of the way with all the other racing truck to his left hand side available. So waiting has not paid off for James there, so not the greatest of starts for James at the moment. Started in third and he's now back down to 15th place, and a lot of work to do to catch up to the front guys. So technically top and tail we've got the Genesis. We've got Fat Pickles there in first, still got Pirate Jim. It's becoming quite a regular sight at the moment at this track, of Jim just behind Pickles, but Ice has got himself up to that podium position that I said all of a lap ago, and that he was looking for. Obviously it was unfortunate errors for Mark, but it looked like he'd already got the job done through Banky Boy before the incident really took place between Mark and James. So graphics there up to 4th place. Got a bit of a gap in front of him to Ice. We've got a bit of a gap behind him to Brucey, who has obviously got past Surfer. Has pulled a little bit of a gap over Surfer. Scott there with a half-second penalty. Will he lose all of that time to Golden Brownie when he comes to serve it, which will be this lap, which is as you just come through this left-right sweeping chicane onto the back straight. There's the penalty line. Will Golden Brownie be able to catch up? Don't look like he will. He's got pulled enough of a gap over the lap to keep that position. The two McLarens there in 9th and 10th place. And looking at the back of the Lexus of Golden Brownie. Osman there in 11th. And Tom there, who was obviously at the back. He's got past Staffy. So we're going to catch up to Staffy and get past. So we've got three of the Toyotas in 11th, 12th and 13th. And I think Scott's only a couple of places ahead up the road. Mark's there. He's not too far back after that incident. What's happened with... Who's that? That's Tom. What's happened with Tom? Did he go wide? Or did he get a tap from Staffy? Camera angles are absolutely shocking, so let's have another look with on board, see what he's done. Got the power on a bit too much and just took him to the right, back end out, so that's going to give Mark one of the places back that he did drop. And we've got another yellow flag, so we've got Gary. Oh, what is everyone doing? Gary here. Looks for a move on Golden Brownie. Oh, gets a tap from Phil. It looked like. Oh, absolutely lifted his rear end up and sent his teammate into the wall. Don't know if that was team orders of don't worry, don't wait, or Phil didn't think it was, it was more lag than anything. Let's see what the stewards say on the leaderboard come the end of the race when it's all been ironed out. So that's giving a bit of breathing room to Golden Brownie after that incident at the last corner. Scott there in 7th. Surf is still behind Brucey for the moment. Brucey running wide, coming out of the uphill right-hander. It's going to be Surf for a bit of a drive coming up the hill. With it being a left-hander, Brucey defended that one nicely coming up the hill there. Surfer had nowhere to go. And it's allowed Scott to get right up the rear end of Surfer down the back straight. Scott doesn't know which way to go. Don't think he's got the power to get past the Nissan. And he's just going to sit behind. Surfer's got a bit of a glitchy pair of racers around him. Brucey seems a little bit glitchy as well, but not as bad as Scott. So I wonder if there's anything to look like there's any other close battles at the moment, apart from first place between Jim and Pickles. We'll just see if Surfer can defend to the end of the lap from Scott, who is looking this way and that. Looks like he might go for a move into the last corner. No, he does slam the anchors on, but tries to get a tighter drive out. Not going to work. Looks like Phil's there. Golden's got a half-second penalty. Is Phil going to go for the move up the inside? He does. Golden Brownie just lets him slip through and just try and lose as minimal time as possible. With letting someone through, just let him do nicely and carry on racing. There's no point fighting, especially when you've got half an hour of the race to go. It'll all come back to you later on. Osman there in 10th place, Staffy 11th, Mark 12th. Gary going well wide, coming onto the little back straight, but you don't get a penalty going out there, so I've seen a lot of the guys doing that. James has been able to catch up to the back of Smokey after that incident he had on the penultimate corner. But still out in front is Pickles. You see on the racing mediums, so that's why the lap times are a little bit slower at the moment than they were in the sprint. But when they get onto the softs, I'm sure they'll be straight down to the 204s, maybe the 203s, like we saw Phil get in the first race. So these two really only have seen them about maximum of about 2 seconds apart in the sprint, and so far 12 minutes in the feature race, which is pretty good stuff from these two. Ice there in third. His softs are not going to last much longer. He's going to have to go probably about 25 minutes on the mediums if he wants to make it to the end on a one stop. Graphics there in fourth. His tyres are looking fairly good. As I said, I know that Porsche is good on its tyres. Look at the tyre wear for that. And then the Lexus. Oh, the Lexus is doing alright for Brucey. I know I was struggling for tyre wear at this track. That's the downside of being on a pad, I suppose. Scott there. His tyre wear is doing rather good so far. He's probably going to try and go for about 20 minutes on the softs, maybe even a bit longer, so it probably won't be long until he comes in for that set of softs. Same again with Phil. We all know that McLaren is a demon on its tyres. I don't know how it does it. It just, yeah, it's like he's got a completely different set of compound tyres on than everyone else, but still getting the lap times out of it. Osman there in 8th place. Golden Brownie's dropped down to 9th. And Osman's got past him since we last saw, so a bit of an incident. 208 on the last. Oh yeah, because he had a penalty, didn't he? Staffy there all over the rear end of Golden Brownie. Golden Brownie doesn't go on the inside, so that was Staffy to take that inside line, but it hasn't got the top end to get past the Lexus, so he's just going to have to sit there behind, coming up the hill to the left right chicane, or sweeping chicane as I say. Not really a proper chicane on this track, they're all just very long sweeping left righters. Still not been able to do anything because he has got the better grip. Golden Brownie goes wide. Staffy there dives up the inside. Mark's going to look for the inside as well. Oh, what's happened to Staffy? I think Staffy's done the same as what Tom done. I've lit up the rear and ended up going right. Different Toyota, but potentially the same problem. So that is Staffy being overtaken by Mark. Golden Brown is still holding on to 9th place at the moment. It's allowing Gary to catch up to the back of this pack of 3 whilst all this fighting is going on. Smoky Tom there has got Surfer and James behind him, so Surfer's had an issue somewhere. Surfer's got past Smoky Tom now, coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Yeah, Surfer, yeah, 220 there for lap 6, so obviously something I missed there from Surfer on that lap. James there looking up the inside of Tom into the uphill right-hander. Tom's sticking it round the outside. He's not going to give up easily to James. I think the grunt of the Genesis doesn't power him past the Toyota, so he's sticking him to him. The size of the difference in them cars between the 86 and the Genesis is yeah. James picks up a half-second penalty. Probably just cutting that little right-hander in the middle of them S's. Tiny bit over, and it will penalise you. James looked like he was going to go for the inside, but Smokey goes up the inside of Surfer. Will Surfer have anything to fight back with? Smokey went a bit deep. James has got past Smokey as well, so catching that gravel slowed him down. So James up to 14th, so not all lost so far for James. He's got 1 place back after that incident. But there's action all up and down the field. It's hard to know exactly where to look. They've all got themselves into little groups at the moment. But at the moment, Pickles still out in first, keeping Jim right behind him. That's where he wants to see is him in the mirror and not in front of him. Jim obviously wants the opposite. He doesn't want to be looking at the back end of that Genesis any longer. He probably wants to. He's had half an hour of looking behind, looking at that rear end. He wants to have a different view. He wants a nice bit of clear track in front of him. So will he try potentially an undercut when it comes to the pit window? See if he can make it work and just gain that extra second or so that he needs over Pickles for that first place. Graphics has got ahead of Ice. Ice, I think he's down to absolutely nothing on his size. Absolutely, both his front tyres are red. So that is why he's been doing it. Look at that lap time: 205, 206, 207, 208. Getting slower and slower, and Graphics tyres, he's still doing 206s, and he did just drop into the 207s, which probably when he overtook Ice, to be fair. Lost a little bit of time, but he's still got a lot of tyre wear left on that Porsche. So it's allowing Scott to catch up to the rear end of Ice. He just can't turn at all in that Nissan. With Phil, Osman, Brucey, Mark in 9th, Gary in 10th, Staffy 11th, Golden Brownies dropped all the way down to 12th. His tyre wear is near enough gone. Surfer, oh yeah, James had a half-second penalty, so he got past Tom, and then Tom's got back past him. So James has got to do the hard work again, but Jim has come into the pit, so is he going to go for the undercut? Has anyone else come into the pit? Let's have a look. Ice will have to come into the pit, his tyres are gone. It looks like Osman's coming to the pit as well. Mark's gone round, Gary has gone round, Staffy's going round. Golden Brownie, is he going to go for another lap? Yes, he is. What about these three at the back? Are they going to try and go as long as they can? Nope, Surf is coming into the pit. He's had enough of the mediums, he wants the softs. So that has given Pickles a bit of breathing room for potentially just this lap, whilst Jim has come in. Where has Jim come out? Has he come out in traffic? He has. He's come out fighting. Who's that? Smoky Tom. Not what you want to be wanting when you just come out on a nice fresh set of softs. You want to be nice clear bit of track and absolutely cane them for the lap. See if you can make that undercut work from the guys, or from Pickle in front of him. Osman, who obviously has pitted as well, in 13th, Ice in 14th. So Osman's gained quite a lot there in that pit window. Obviously saved a lot more fuel than Ice has coming into the pit box. That's for there in 15th. He's got a half-second penalty to serve when he comes round to the back straight this lap. Pickles, will he come in this lap, or will he carry on going round just so we can absolutely nail them softs for the remainder of the race? Let's stick with him. Looks like he's going too fast to try and make the pit entry. He's going to go round for another lap. Graphics' fuel is flashing, so is he going to be just going to go for another lap, or is he going to come in? These three are going for another lap. Nope, Phil's coming in. So Phil's got no more fuel. Brucey is going round again. Mark's going round, Gary's going round, Staffy's going round, Golden Brownie, his front left has gone. But you are allowed one full lap after your tyre's gone red before you come into the pit. So it looks like Phil's the only guy to come in that lap, because James is the last of the runners that hasn't pitted, I believe. Yes. Yeah. So James up to 11th, but as I say, he hasn't pitted yet, so he's still got Smoky Tom in front of him, who also needs to pit, but James is going to have to put probably a little bit more fuel in than Tom when he comes in. But obviously the track map top right, everyone's spread out a little bit at the moment. Obviously once whoever's first, once Pickles has made his pit, I'll do a quick lap guide. So I'm just going to have a quick drink break. Alright, Smoky Tom in 10th place. Jim now has caught up to the back of Golden Brownie. Golden Brownie's not really going to fight it too much. Completely different strategies. Golden Brownie's still got a pit, so there's not much point fighting a losing battle for Golden Brownie and just letting Jim go through. You're only going to do each other harm at the end of the race by fighting it. Oh, what's Mark doing? What is Mark doing? He had the incident with James gets on the grass, coming through the fast left, right, up the hill, spins it. He loses just the one place to, oh no, sorry, 2 places. I didn't see Staffy go through. So Mark's gone down from fighting for 5th down to 7th place. Graphics and Scott have come in. Will Brucey come in as well. Brucey's come in. Gary is coming in. Staffy's come in. Will Mark carry on, or will he be coming in? No, Mark's coming in as well. So that's Jim. Should be back up to 2nd place for Jim. Smokey there will get through to 3rd. The big number change there for them guys. James comes along into 4th place. So I say he's the last of the non-pitters, so we've only got 4 left to go. But his tyre fuel light is flashing. I think all of them, obviously Jim, yeah. Oh no, sorry, we've only got 3. I forgot Jim has pitted already. It shows how far he is ahead from the rest of the guys of Smokey and James. But Pickles there in 1st, kind of just on his own, just running 206s on fairly worn tyres, but I think he will be coming in this lap. He's got no fuel to go anymore, so we'll see how much of a difference that I think Jim might have made the undercut work. He's gone 204s, 205s with obviously a purple lap, because a 204 is an out lap. So you do obviously start the timer kind of as you enter onto the lap, rather than on some tracks it starts it halfway through a pit stop. It's very weird, this game. But yeah, so Jim set in 205. See if he's going quicker again on this lap. He was 7 tenths up through sector 2. He's still 6 tenths up. So we'll stay with Jim and see where he comes out with Pickles. It's only coming around the penultimate corner now, and then down the hill to the last corner. Jim is praying for Pickles to take as long as possible in the pit, but fuel starts going for Pickles. Now, how much will he take? Let's jump on board. Will he see Pickles? There's Pickles coming out of the pit. So the undercut has worked for Jim. He's going to be absolutely ecstatic in that helmet. That's two or three laps earlier. He pitted on lap 9, and Pickles pitted on lap 12. So yeah, 3 laps difference, and he was about a second and a half behind. He's now about 2 seconds ahead. So it really works out in Jim's favour in the pit stop window. So Pickles has now got to do all the pushing work to make Jim, or force Jim to make a mistake in the last 14 or 13 and a half minutes of the race to go. Osman there in 3rd, so Osman's had a pretty decent race, seeing he started, I think, don't quote me on, I think it was in 12th, I think it was, in the end. So yeah, he's done a really good race to get up to 3rd place here. Graphics there, he obviously just no, he pitted lap 11. I think everyone else pitted lap 11. Pickles was the only one to go the extra lap. It looks like he would have cost him the lead at the moment. Scott there in 5th. Phil, who set another fastest lap, 204.1. So that McLaren definitely is pretty decent around this track. So it's some good lap times. Nice there, obviously probably not enjoying the mediums as much as he was enjoying the softs. So obviously he did have the fastest lap until the other guys with lighter fuel loads and soft tyres came along. Brucey there in 8th place after his pit stop. He's got Ice and Phil just up ahead of him, so he's got something to aim for. It's not like he's running around on his own at the moment. stuffy there. You can just see Brucey probably just ahead, coming into corners as he's coming out of them. So, a bit of a on his own at the moment. Gary with Mark just behind him there for 10th and 11th place. Surfer there in 12th. Smokey there, half-second penalty. He's got Golden Brownie in 14th. And James drifting it through the last corner there. Golden Brownie's not had the greatest of races so far, but he does just go 2 tenths quicker on his personal lap time. James there, after his pit stop on lap 12, drops to the back of the pack, but probably will catch up to the back of Smokey and Golden for the end of the race. So Jim there sitting 2:04.2, just off the fastest lap of the race. Last lap around. Pickles set 2:03 on his out lap, which Jim's on a 2:04, so Pickles has lit up them softs and is trying his hardest to catch up to the back of Jim. He doesn't want to lose that first place. Strategy's not worked out, so it's now all down to the driver to do his best and catch up that gap. He's gone purple, so he's definitely trying to catch up to the back of Jim. He has got a target. It's a big red target with a yellow wing in front of him, which he's going to be aiming for and trying to get past before the clock runs out, which is just over 10 minutes time. Osman there a little bit on his own, but he'll be happy with a 3rd place at the moment. Graphics there with Scott right up behind him. Scott's still a little bit, and he's not as bad jumping out through the corners as soon as I say that he goes off the track. I don't know if that was lag or Scott himself. But Brucey there looking up the inside of ice, so he has been able to catch up to the back end of ice, and looks like he's going to try. He's just going to pull out. It looks like there Brucey into turn 1, but ice runs it a little bit deep, gives Brucey the room. So Brucey's going to try and go around the outside of turn 2, which will be the inside of turn 3. Crack a little battle here between Brucey and ice for 7th place. It looks like Brucey's been able to somehow do it round the outside. Absolutely cracking racing there between them two drivers. Well, Brucey does keep it in front of ice for 7th into the uphill right-hander. Stuffy there in 9th, Mark in 10th, Gary 11th, Smokey 12th, Golden 13th. As said, James has caught up to the back of Golden there, and Surfer has come into the pit again. Why is Surfer coming to the pit again? I'll just jump back and see. Did he not fuel up? Oh, did he not fuel when he come? Because he's got no fuel, and he came in on lap 9. No, why did he not come in at all? The Surfer tried to go. No, he did. I don't know what Surfer's done there. Answers on a postcard, please, Surfer. That one's stumped me. But we have got Jim with Pickles right up behind him. I'm going to stay with, I don't know who to do the lap guide with. Do I do it for Pickles? Seeing if you can see a way round Jim on the lap. I think I might, and then at least I don't have to keep looking back to see where Pickles is from Jim's perspective. But I think this might be the lap that Pickles gets past Jim, fighting side by side, coming across the line to start lap 16 into this slowest left-hander on the track, and the slowest right-hander as well to start the lap. 180 turn there, and let's get the throttle down, make this entry as wide as you can. just kind of keep it as tight on that left hand side into this right hander, onto the mini back straight. Here we go. You can drift it out pretty much onto that red painted area on the left hand side on the exit, down this little mini straight here, up to the I'm going to call it the uphill right hander. Let's yeah, get the power on quite early, and then you keep on going up and up and up the hill. People's having a look, and then you've got the S's. This is where you can really pick up the penalty here, just on the exit of that little bit there. And then flat out now, through this left right onto the back straight, through the penalty gates. Jim's there trying to defend. He's made his move, so he can't make another move into the corner. Pickles doesn't make it, but through Banky Boy we go. It's a lovely corner when you get that one right, and then back up the hill through the sweeping left right we've got here, up and two. It looks like Pickles has made the move up to Dim into this double right hander. Pickles got now room on the outside. He does give him room, but Jim's trying to move for the old switcheroo. So we've got the double right there, and then you've got this penultimate left-hander, which isn't really a left-hander, you go flat out through it, and then this downhill last corner, and then back onto the start-finish straight. But as you can see, we have just had the change of the lead between Pickles and Jim. So Pickles is absolutely using them tyres and abusing them to get back up to first place. So this has been pretty much a two-race battle between Pickles and Jim for first and second. Osman there in third, still a little bit on his own. Scott there in fourth, he's got past Graphics for fourth. Phil there has caught up to the back of Graphics as well. Brucey there in seventh place, Ice there in eighth, Staffy in ninth, Mark in 10th place at the moment, Gary in 11th, Smokey in 12th, James in 13th. Golden Brownie's dropped back from James. He's got really no tyres left at all. 5 minutes to go, and probably just trying to eke them out as best he can. And Surfer there with, let's say, it's either 2 pit stops or he's had a very bad lap 9, which then really cost him the time of being on their mediums. But we shall see. We shall see what the answers are on that postcard. Flat Pickles there has pulled a little bit of a gap over Jim since he got past him. So he has been able to defend, and he has gone purple this lap, so he's now been able to get past and pull away from Jim. So is Pickles going to try for the double with the pole as well, and fastest lap for this race. He didn't get the fastest lap for the sprint race, so that would have been every point possible for Pickles in this round. I don't think anyone else is going to beat his fastest lap, because everyone's now going to have worn tyres. Osman there with a half-second penalty. Don't think that's going to matter. He's got a bit of a gap over Scott. He is flying, but I think he's a bit too far away. I think we've got another 2 laps to go, if my calculations are right. Phil there in 5th. He's got past Graphics as well that lap. So Graphics hasn't done too bad in the second half of this race. He's dropped a couple of positions, but there you go. That's how wide you can run it through that corner, and you still don't pick up a penalty. Absolutely crazy. Probably not any faster, but if you have run it wide, it doesn't matter. Brucey there in 7th. We've got a battle here for 8th, 9th and 10th place. Look at that, only 3 minutes left of the race, and we've got a battle on our hands. I think Ice was doing really well, was at the beginning of the race, and then his tyres went off and he really struggled. But he has just lost 2 places there to Mark and Staffy. I think he's more concerned about fuel than anything else. His fuel light's on. He should only have this lap and 1 more to go for him. Gary there in 11th, but on his own for the moment. James has caught up to the back of Tom. So see if he can. What's James's tyre wear? James has got a lot more tyre wear than Tom, and Tom's got a lot more fuel as well, so Tom doesn't have to do anything about saving tyres, fuel. He's going to make it, that's for sure. James potentially is going to be struggling on fuel. It's hard to tell exactly because you don't get any fuel numbers, you just get a flashing red line. Golden there, absolutely no tyre wear, probably just trying to keep his head keep ahead of Surfer for 15th place. It looks like Pickles has started his last lap with Jim, who has just dropped off the back of Pickles since he got past. Not been able to keep up with that Genesis. That Genesis has been absolutely dominant here with Pickles. Obviously James was in the first race as well. Just obviously unfortunate errors in the feature for James. Osman there in 3rd, still 4th is Scott. He has caught up to Osman. I don't think he's going to be able to do much more with only half a lap to go. Same as Phil, he's just been doing similar lap times to Scott, just keeping him in touch and distance for any penalty or little error that he does do. But that was quite tight there for Phil going through that left-hander. Does he pick up a penalty? I'm not too sure. It doesn't look like he will. No, it was just inside the track limits. Everyone has run their fuel to the limit. Brucey there, he's got no tyre, or not much tyre wear left on that Lexus as well. Will he be able to keep ahead of Mark for the last part of the race? These 3 guys that were battling a lap ago have just spread out a little bit as well. Go over there, 11th, Smokey Net, 12th is keeping ahead of James. A little jump to the leader as he comes around the last corner of the race. That'll be 2 wins for Pickles. He's happy. He's flashing his headlights for the 2nd time. That is Pickles over the line for 1st. Jim comes along the line, finish line in 2nd. Osman, great feature race, finishes in 3rd. Scott finishes in 4th. Phil 5th. So good recovery drive for Phil, who was at the back on the sprint. Graphics spins it across the line to finish in 6th. Brucey comes across in 7th. Mark in 8th. Staffy in 9th. Ice comes along in 10th. Unlucky there for Ice. Gary in 11th. Smokey in 12th. James couldn't do anything about Smokey and finishes in 13th. And then we've got the 2 guys that, well, I know I struggled. I like the track, but just the car just wasn't a good combo, that's for sure. But Golden Brownie comes across to finish in 14th place, and Surf comes across to finish in 15th. Obviously, if you've enjoyed these comms, please leave a like and obviously subscribe to the channel to get any notifications for the next time I go live. Obviously, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.